Welcome to From Manuscript to Ministry, created and produced by Elder William Moore, the podcast where faith meets the written word. Each week, your hosts David and Martha dive into powerful, self-published books by Christian authors who are boldly using their God-given voices to impact the kingdom. Whether you're an aspiring writer, a reader seeking spiritual growth, or a ministry leader in search of authentic resources, this is your space to be inspired, encouraged, and equipped. Let's explore today's featured book and uncover the life-changing message behind the manuscript.
Have you ever, found yourself in a season where life just felt relentless, like a constant flood? Maybe you're juggling a tough career, raising a family, or maybe you've got this grand vision, but the path forward just seems, foggy.
Totally relatable, yeah.
Well,
We've all been there.
Exactly. Searching for that inner resilience, right? That quiet strength that lets you face things head on, maybe even laugh without worrying about tomorrow.
That ability to face the future without fear.
That's it. So today, we're doing a deep dive into exactly that. What does it really mean to lead with both inner strength, like deep inner strength, and also strategic purpose, a kind of divinely inspired purpose?
Right, we're going beyond the surface level stuff.
Yeah, moving past the quick fixes, the easy advice. We want to peel back the layers, find those insights that can genuinely transform how you approach, everything. Your day, your decisions, your relationships.
Getting to the core of it.
Yeah. Our mission today is really to pull out the most powerful nuggets from some really rich material. We're looking at excerpts from Strength and Strategy, Leading with Grace. And this distills wisdom from chapter 7 and 8 of a devotional called Proverbs 31, Empowering Quotes for Everyday Motivation by William Moore.
A really focused source.
Right, and our goal is to make these ancient principles not just, understandable, but really relevant, actionable for anyone trying to lead, love, live on purpose in this crazy modern world.
Bringing ancient wisdom into today. Makes sense.
Okay, let's unpack this.
What's really fascinating here, I think, is how these principles drawn from such a foundational text are reframed. They're presented with such relevance for now. The devotional kind of sets itself up as a spiritual blueprint, specifically for modern women.
A blueprint. I like that.
Yeah, taking that timeless wisdom and applying it directly to the complexities, the demands of our lives today. It's more than just like a list of nice quotes.
Definitely more than that.
It's designed to be a practical guide. It bridges that gap we sometimes feel between, old scripture and the motivation we need day to day for living intentionally, for leading with purpose.
So it makes them feel less like dusty relics.
Exactly. Not dusty relics, but living, breathing, and honestly, really effective tools for empowerment and action right now.
So let's dive into chapter 7 first. It's titled Strength Dressed in Dignity. And it kicks off with one of the most powerful lines from Proverbs 31, one most people recognize. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future.
A classic verse, really resonates.
It really is. And I want us, and especially you listening, to just pause on that word, clothed.
The verb choice.
Right. It doesn't say she has strength or she gets dignity. It's active, intentional. She is clothed with it. That phrasing feels so significant, doesn't it?
It really does. It implies it's not just innate or something you passively receive.
Or earn through achievements, yeah. Or borrow from, like a good mood.
Right. It suggests it's something actively chosen, put on, worn, like getting dressed in the morning.
Exactly. A garment you pick that reflects who you are and prepares you for the day. It's a conscious act of embodying these qualities.
Performing your identity, like you said.
Yeah.
Not just possessing them.
Yeah.
And that metaphor, clothing oneself, it's incredibly profound, as you said. The implications go way beyond just poetry. It speaks to that intentional daily choice. A decision we make each morning, or maybe each time we face something tough, to step into these attributes, to inhabit them.
Like putting on your armor for the day, almost?
Sort of, yeah. When you get dressed, you're making a statement, right? To yourself, to the world, about how you intend to show up. So being clothed with strength and dignity means these aren't just incidental. They're a cultivated internal state that you actively project outwards.
An internal state projecting outwards. I like that.
And this proactive choice about your inner state, it's truly transformative. It's the complete opposite of being reactive,
Where your mood is dictated by whatever happens to you.
Exactly. The unexpected bill, the harsh word, the setback.
Yeah.
Instead, this suggests an inner control, a self-possession. It lets you determine your own bearing, your composure, no matter what's swirling around outside.
That sounds incredibly empowering.
It is. Psychologically, it builds this huge sense of agency. You feel like the author of your inner experience, not just a victim of events. And spiritually, it connects your identity to something deeper, more enduring than just worldly success or failure or what people think.
Right. So even when the outside world is chaos.
Your inner world can still be this sanctuary, calm, purposeful.
Yeah.
Because you've chosen to clothe it with resilience. It's not just having strength, it's performing it, choosing it daily. And that self-perception shapes everything how you interact, how the world responds. It's an active identity. That distinction is key.
And here's where it gets really interesting, because like you just said, it's all about making that deliberate, active choice for our inner world. Not just letting external pressures define us passively. It's not about pretending challenges don't exist or being totally impervious.
No, not at all.
It's about how we choose to meet them, how we choose to show up, moment by moment. It's like, are you being swept away by the tide, or are you setting your sails even when it's stormy? And what's really fascinating here is that this inner strength we're talking about, the kind that lets you laugh without fear, it's not about being loud or dominating.
Not aggressive strength.
Exactly. The devotional is super clear on this. This strength isn't loud, it's lived, it's quiet, persistent, but profoundly impactful. It shows up in those consistent, often unseen, everyday actions.
The small things that add up.
Totally. Think about the examples the source gives. They paint such a clear picture.
Okay.
First, it says strength is in the woman who shows up even when she's tired.
Yeah. That resonates.
Right. It's not about big, flashy heroics. It's that quiet perseverance. Sticking to your responsibilities, your purpose, your family, even when you're exhausted or just don't feel like it.
That commitment day in, day out.
Just keep going when you want to stop. Then there's the example of the mother who keeps believing even when the bills stack high.
Wow, yeah, that's powerful.
It speaks to this incredible resilience of hope, of faith, refusing to give in to despair when things look really bleak financially or emotionally.
Trusting in something bigger, even when the present is tough.
It's not naive optimism. It's like deeply rooted faith in action. And finally, it points to the leader who refuses to compromise her values when pressure comes.
Moral courage.
Huge moral courage, integrity, strength shown not by force, but by sticking to your ethics, even when it's hard or unpopular or costs you something.
Standing firm when others might fold.
Exactly. These aren't flashy power plays, are they? They're quiet, deep expressions of character, inner fortitude, building a life of real impact.
And this observation really raises an important question, doesn't it, about how our culture often views strength.
The loud versus the quiet.
Right. Society often cheers for the outward power, the visible dominance, the flashy success. You almost think strength has to be performative.
Yeah, you do.
But the devotional spotlights, the quiet power, the lasting impact of these everyday acts, it's the consistency in these small, humble actions that builds deep character, real influence.
Consistency is the key word there.
Absolutely. When someone consistently shows up, keeps believing, holds their values, it says so much about their inner landscape. It shows a robust inner world that can handle turbulence.
It's not just a momentary burst of willpower.
Exactly. It's a sustainable wellspring of resilience. It lets you navigate life's storms without being totally capsized or losing your way. And these quiet acts, they create ripples. They inspire others, not through big speeches, but through lived example.
Build our trust and respect organically.
Yes. In a way that sheer force or surface success rarely achieves. It leaves a legacy of integrity, genuine strength. It's about being anchored, not just appearing strong.
Okay, now let's talk about dignity, because the devotional clarifies this in such a liberating way.
Yeah.
It says dignity here is not about perfection or pride.
Crucial distinction.
It's about knowing who you are in God and not needing external validation to feel whole. That just hits differently, doesn't it?
It really does. It immediately separates it from that superficial outward stuff.
Right. It's not about having a perfect facade or acting superior or untouchable.
No. It points to this deep self-awareness, self-acceptance that comes from inside, from a spiritual place. It's not dependent on what others think or say.
Or how well you perform for the world.
Exactly. And deconstructing that definition is so essential because it frees us from that exhausting chase for some external ideal.
The perfection trap.
Totally. True dignity, as it's presented here, is worlds apart from pride. which often inflates the ego, leads to arrogance, or that relentless striving for the flawless appearance, the curated life that society pushes.
Yeah, the Instagram life.
Right. Instead, this anchors your worth internally, specifically through that spiritual connection the Source
Yeah,
mentions.
internal anchor.
And that foundation, understanding your identity and value, comes from that deeper source. It provides this unshakable core. When your wholeness isn't tied to external opinions, good or bad, or worldly success,
They lose their power over you.
dramatically, it builds this internal fortress of self-worth. It's resistant to the shifting tides of public opinion, social media likes, or circumstances.
That sounds revolutionary in today's world.
It really is. If we connect this to the bigger picture, in a world constantly screaming for affirmation from others, likes, followers, accolades, approval, this internal wellspring of dignity is a game changer.
True self-acceptance.
Yes, a quiet, steady confidence that radiates authenticity, not a carefully built persona. It's being secure in who you are, regardless of validation. And that allows for a kind of freedom most people never find. ###IND, the strategic purpose of inner strength.
And this leads us to a really powerful, maybe even counterintuitive idea from the chapter. Your strength is not for show, it's for strategy.
Ooh, I like that framing.
Right. It's not strength just to display it or flex or prop up a fragile ego. It has a deeper, intentional purpose. So what does that mean for you listening today? As you go about your life, what are you actually clothed in right now?
A challenging question.
Is it doubt, fear, insecurity, letting those things dictate your posture, your choices? Or are you daily, consciously choosing to wear dignity, intentionally putting on that inner strength that prepares you for what's ahead?
It's a choice that shapes your trajectory.
Absolutely. A deliberate decision that impacts not just how you appear, but where you're going.
That is such a critical point.
Yeah.
And it perfectly sets up where we're going next. This inner strength is inherently strategic. Why? Because it lays the essential foundation for everything else you do.
The bedrock for action.
Exactly. Whether it's a tough conversation, launching something new, weathering a crisis, if you're clothed with strength and dignity, you aren't easily swayed by fleeting emotions, criticism, or sudden pressure. There's an anchor,
Stability inside.
which allows for incredible clarity. Clarity of thought, clarity of purpose. Instead of reacting impulsively out of fear or frustration,
You can act with discernment.
yes, with intention, with a clear vision, you can make decisions based on your core values, not just blown around by circumstances or what others think. This internal preparation is directly, completely linked to the external strategy we're about to discuss.
They're not separate things.
Not at all. Two sides of the same coin. You simply cannot effectively implement a coherent divine strategy if your inner world is chaos, if your sense of self is fragile, if you're always looking outside for validation.
Inner strength makes purposeful action possible.
It provides the stable, fertile ground. From that ground, planning and impactful action can actually grow. It makes every step forward more deliberate, more resilient, and ultimately way more impactful. It's a quiet power behind all effective action.
Whew, okay, so we've built that foundation, that inner strength, that dignity. The natural next question is, well, what do we do with it? How do we translate that resolve into strategic action?
Right. How does it manifest outwardly?
That's exactly what Chapter 8 dives into. This is where we shift gears from being to doing. The devotional introduces this Proverbs 31 powerhouse and says she doesn't just react to life, she prepares for it. She discerns. She plans.
That's such a powerful shift, right? From internal state to intentional outward action.
Moving from feeling strong to acting strong.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not enough just to feel it. You have to act on it. And that means being proactive, thoughtful, prepared. This woman isn't just caught off guard. She anticipates, assesses, lays the groundwork.
Yeah, elaborating on that move from being that strength and dignity to doing preparing, discerning, planning it reveals this really holistic, powerful way to live.
Holistic is a good word for it.
And discernment specifically is like the critical bridge here. It's not just making a plan, but making the right plan.
Being thoughtful about it.
Right. Evaluating situations, weighing options, spotting challenges, and making sure your plans actually align with your deeper purpose, not just impulsive reactions or chasing shiny objects. So it's not just reacting to whatever comes up.
Exactly. And this thoughtful, prepared approach, it has huge long-term benefits that we often underestimate. A life built on this kind of preparation is just more resilient, less prone to crisis, more effective in reaching goals, big or small.
That makes sense. You're allocating resources wisely.
Your time, energy, talents towards what truly matters. It gives you this sense of control and purpose, even with all the uncertainty life throws at us. It's like building a pathway forward, intentionally, brick by brick.
Not just hoping to stumble into success.
Right. Being deliberate, not just busy. Hashtag B. Planning as an expression of faith, not its opposite.
Now, this next part, I think, challenges a really common idea, a misconception maybe a lot of us have. The devotional reminds us quite profoundly that planning isn't the opposite of faith.
Ah, yes. This is a big one.
It says planning is actually an expression of faith, which feels counterintuitive sometimes, right? Because planning often feels like trying to control things, mitigate uncertainty.
Which seems like the opposite of faith, surrendering control, trusting the unseen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how can planning, with its lists and schedules and budgets, actually be an act of faith? How to reconcile those?
Well, this is where the devotional gives this really profound rationale.
Yeah.
It has the power to totally shift your perspective. It says, think about this. God is a planner.
Wow. Okay.
Creation had a strategy. Redemption had a strategy. This insight just reframes everything about human planning. If we believe in a creator who operates with foresight, design, purpose, then our own planning, when it's guided by wisdom, discernment, aligned with that higher purpose, it can be seen as mirroring those divine attributes.
Like we're participating in that divine planning, co-creating.
Exactly, co-creation. And that perspective is so liberating. It rescues planning from just being a symptom of anxiety, that desperate attempt to control everything because we're scared.
Right, elevates
It elevates it to an act of trust,
Yeah.
partnership. It suggests that when we plan, we're not trying to take over God's job or guarantee outcomes ourselves. We're being thoughtful, responsible stewards of the gifts and callings we have.
Showing faith by preparing the ground.
Precisely. Preparing the ground for what we believe will unfold in collaboration with that higher power. And this really raises that important question.
Yeah.
How do we blend our spiritual beliefs and our practical actions?
Seeing them as working together, not fighting each other.
Harmonious components of a purposeful life, recognizing that faith isn't just passive waiting. It's active participation in purpose, using the tools and wisdom we have to build, not just dream.
And chapter 8 really pushes us beyond just dreaming, doesn't it? No matter how big the dream. It says to use wisdom to build, not just dream.
Get practical.
Totally practical. It makes it super clear. God gives us visions, callings, purpose, yes, but he also provides the practical, mundane tools to make them happen, like calendars, to-do lists, and yes, budgets.
Budgets, the spiritual tool of the budget.
Exactly. It's such a refreshingly grounded take. A reminder that spiritual inspiration isn't meant to just float around vaguely.
It needs to land.
It's meant to be brought down to earth, built into reality, brick by brick, taking those big dreams and breaking them down into actual steps, using the tools we have right here.
This is such a crucial integration point. So many people miss this or struggle with it. The devotional powerfully shows that vision gives direction, the North Star.
Right.
But it absolutely needs practical, mundane tools to show up in the real world. Why are calendars, lists, budgets part of a divine strategy?
Yeah, why?
Because they're the essential conduits.
Yeah.
They translate that grand, abstract vision into something tangible, workable. A vision without a plan often stays just a wish.
A fleeting thought.
Right. These tools aren't just annoying administrative tasks. They're the concrete steps that turn purpose into manageable tasks.
That makes sense.
Think about an architect. They need the grand blueprint, the beautiful vision, right? But to actually build it, they need detailed schematics, measurements, materials, costs, timelines. The vision inspires, but the practical tools execute.
Got it. Vision plus tools equals reality.
Pretty much. These everyday tools help us manage time, allocate resources wisely, track progress. They ensure our efforts are disciplined, directed, efficient. They bridge the gap between inspired thought and lived reality.
And this all leads to this really pivotal quote from the chapter. For me, this line just pulls it all together beautifully. It says, "A virtuous woman plans not to control the outcome, but to partner with God for it."
That's the core right there.
It shifts everything, doesn't it? It's not about us needing absolute certainty or micromanaging every detail to force a result.
No, it's about collaboration.
A deep, intentional alignment with a higher purpose. It's like an invitation to show up, do the work, but without that crushing weight of having to manipulate everything or bear the burden of the final outcome all by yourself.
Absolutely. And analyzing that difference, trying to control versus actively partnering, is so key. The desire to control usually comes from fear.
Fear of failure, fear of the unknown.
Fear of not being enough. But this perspective just lifts that huge pressure of perfectionism, that fear of failure in planning. When you plan to partner, the outcome isn't solely on you.
It's a shared endeavor, a joint venture.
Exactly. Which shifts the focus from individual burden and exhausting effort to collaboration. It fosters peace, flexibility, resilience.
You can adapt more easily.
Yes, you can adjust. Trust that even if plans change or pivot, the underlying purpose is still guided, still good. Connecting this to the bigger picture, it's liberation from needing absolute certainty,
Embracing a dynamic, co-creative process.
where you offer your best efforts, diligently, prayerfully, and you entrust the unfolding to a larger wisdom. It's a massive shift from striving alone to moving forward in harmony. That trust frees you up to actually build.
So maybe today, you, listening, you felt that nudge, that calling, that purpose stirring, but you've been putting off writing the plan.
The vision is there, but not the clarity.
Right. Or maybe not the courage to spell out the steps. Consider this deep dive your sign, your permission slip to start. And here's the best part, the part that takes the pressure off. Your next step doesn't have to be perfect.
No perfection needed.
It just has to be prayerful. Just begin. That first step is everything.
Underscoring initiation over perfection is so vital here. How often does chasing the perfect plan paralyze us? Stop us from doing anything?
All the time, procrastination station.
Exactly. And the call to be prayerful in planning, it means more than just a quick prayer over your spreadsheet. It means integrating deep reflection, actively seeking guidance, meditation, study, counsel, maintaining a posture of openness, humility, even when you're dealing with logistics.
Approaching it ready to adjust, learn, adapt us.
Not rigid adherence to one outcome.
Yeah.
Practically, prayerful planning might look like setting aside quiet time before you dive into the calendar or budget. It could mean inviting intuition, spiritual wisdom into the logistical process. Periodically reviewing plans not just for efficiency, but for ongoing alignment with your deeper purpose and values.
Infusing the practical with the spiritual.
Consciously, ensuring even mundane tasks are done with intention, connection, flexibility. It makes it a dynamic process of growth, not a static blueprint that shatters under pressure.
Okay, so as we bring these two big concepts together, thinking about our journey through chapters 7 and 8, we land on this really profound, unifying truth. Whether you're in a season right now of rebuilding your strength, nurturing that inner dignity, or you're deep in strategizing your next move for family, career, community.
Whatever your focus is.
Strength and strategy aren't presented as just like worldly traits you get through grit or ambition or being clever.
No, it elevates them.
The devotional elevates them way beyond self-help hacks. It calls them potent kingdom tools.
Kingdom tools. Expanding on that term is really crucial, I think, to get the depths here. When the source calls them kingdom tools, it's distinguishing them from just worldly skills or human techniques. A kingdom tool isn't solely about personal gain or conventional success. It's a quality or a practice like that unshakable inner strength or purposeful strategic thinking that, when it's rooted in spiritual principles and guided by higher purpose, becomes an instrument for something bigger than yourself.
Impacting the community, a calling, the world.
Exactly. It extends beyond just your own achievement. This perspective lifts these traits beyond just personal development. It gives them deeper spiritual meaning, a bigger purpose.
So how do they empower people differently?
By rooting strength in spiritual identity and strategy in divine partnership, you get resilience that doesn't depend on external circumstances. And you get direction that's purposeful, not just reactive.
It creates more holistic framework.
Right. Actions become not just effective, but deeply meaningful. It fosters a life of integrity, influence, lasting impact. What's fascinating is how these ancient principles offer this complete framework for living and leading now, making our personal growth tied to a broader, impactful, often quiet purpose.
And this is where it all lands, right? These ancient insights meeting your actual life, right where you are today. The virtuous woman from Proverbs 31. She's not just some quiet, idealized figure stuck in scripture.
Not an unattainable relic.
No. The devotional says she's you, showing up in modern form, rising, building, and leading with grace. That feels like such a powerful, direct call to embody these things now.
In your unique situation, your role, your interactions.
It's an invitation to see these qualities in yourself and activate them.
And that direct connection is a powerful call to action. It emphasizes the practical, living application of this modern-day form. Let's think about what rising, building, and leading with grace actually look like today.
Okay, yeah. Break it down.
Rising could be consistently showing up, persevering with that quiet strength, taking initiative even when it's hard,
The power of consistency again.
right?
Yeah.
Resilience.
Yeah.
Building could be using those practical tools, calendars, budgets, lists, to make visions real. Creating structures, systems that support growth and purpose.
Whether it's a business, a family, a community project.
Exactly. Building something tangible. And leading with grace means doing all this with that dignity we talked about, with integrity, compassion, understanding. Not demanding perfection, but striving for excellence with service, humility, partnership.
So give us some examples.
Okay. A modern virtuous woman could be a single mom strategically planning for her kids while facing financial stress, drawing on her inner dignity to keep going.
Mm.
It could be a CEO building an ethical company, using her strength to hold values under market pressure, using strategy to innovate responsibly.
Right.
Or a community leader rising to advocate for others, building consensus through thoughtful planning, leading with compassion. In every case, these ancient virtues are active, transformative.
Showing that strength and strategy aren't just concepts.
They're living forces in the real world today, fostering empowered purpose and real impact. #tag outro.
All right, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly recap the core message, the really transformative idea here. We've looked at the power of choosing inner strength, of literally dressing yourself daily in dignity, understanding that this inner fortitude isn't for show, it's for strategy.
Foundational strength for purposeful action.
Exactly. And then we moved into embracing strategic planning, not as a fearful grab for control, but as an act of faith, a partnership with a divine purpose.
A collaborative effort.
And the source gives us that concise but super powerful call to action. 3 steps. Get still, get dressed in dignity, and make a plan with God.
Simple yet profound.
And remember that really encouraging thought that sums it all up. You don't have to figure it all out. You just have to partner with the one who already has.
That's the liberation right there.
It really is.
So, as you move on from listening today, maybe consider this. How might embracing both that unshakable inner dignity, that worth from within, and a purposeful, prayerful strategy, and how might that not only transform your own journey, giving you more peace, more clarity through challenges, but also how might it profoundly influence all the parts of your life, enabling you to shape the world around you with a quiet yet undeniably powerful grace, a lasting impact.
Going beyond just personal success.
Exactly. It offers a path not just to achievement, but to a life of real meaning, purpose, and influence.
That's a really powerful thought to sit with. It ties everything together so well. I hope it sparks some ongoing reflection for you, our listener. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into strength and strategy, leading with grace. We hope it's given you some fresh perspective, practical encouragement, and maybe a renewed sense of purpose for your own journey.
Keep reflecting on these ideas.
Absolutely. Keep reflecting, and we'll be back soon with another deep dive.
Thank you for joining us today on From Manuscript to Ministry. If today's featured book encouraged, challenged, or inspired you, we invite you to take the next step, purchase a copy, and support the author behind the message. When you invest in their work, you're not just buying a book, you're sowing into good ground and helping advance the kingdom of God through faith-filled storytelling. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs it. Your support helps these powerful voices reach even further. Until next time, keep reading, keep writing, keep praying, and keep walking boldly in your calling. God is still turning manuscripts into ministries.